Okay, so now we're moving on to areas of parallelograms and triangles. So, area versus perimeter, sorry. Area is the amount of space inside an object, perimeter is distance around an object. So if you have a garden or a yard, we have the fence around, and then we have the yard. Okay, the fence is the perimeter, and the yard is the area, the space inside. Okay, formulas we're going to be using a lot. So you may want to keep these on a separate sheet of paper. There'll be lots of formulas for this chapter and the next. So maybe like you have a little note card and put them on there. So rectangle is base times height. You might also see it sometimes, length times width. Same thing, different letters. Square is S squared. You know, again, length times width works. It's just length and width are the same thing. So it's S times S. And perimeter, you add up all the sides. So, find the area and perimeter for each square or rectangle. Well, if it helps, you get stuck on this, go ahead and label everything, just to remind yourself. So the perimeter on this one is going to be 11 plus 11 plus 17 plus 17. Another way to write that is 2 times 11 plus 2 times 17. Okay? Either way you want to do it is fine. It's your choice. And that's going to be 56. And we don't have inches or anything, so we just put units, 56 units. And area is just 17 times 11, which is 187 units squared. Number 2, it's a square because they're all the same. Well, it's at least a rhombus, but it's most likely a square. It's not marked 90 degrees, but either way, it's the same all around. So again, perimeter, there's going to be 7 plus 7 plus 7 plus 7, or 4 times 7. 28 units. And area is going to be 7 squared, or 7 times 7. 49 units squared. Okay. Now for this one, we know this is 6, we need this number. Well, what do? We have a right triangle. We do 6 squared plus b squared equals 10 squared. Pythagorean theorem. So that's b squared equals 100 minus 36, which is 64, so b is 8. So that's 8, and that's 8. So the perimeter is 2 times 6 plus 2 times 8. 12 plus 18. 30 units. Or, if I can actually add correctly, alright, 16 plus 12 will be 28 units. And then the area is going to be 6 times 8, 48 units squared. Okay, number 4 is a little tricky. We're combining a lot of what we know now. Seeing that this is an isosceles triangle, and we have a square, it's not marked, it should be marked. That means we have a 45, 45, 90. So what's the relationship between the hypotenuse and the leg? 4 divided by radical 2, which we need to rationalize, which gives us 4 radical 2 over 2 cancels 2 radical 2. So each side is 2 radical 2. So the perimeter is 4 times 2 radical 2. Now remember, we only multiply outside numbers. So that's 8 radical 2 units. And area is 2 radical 2 times itself, or squared. Now remember when we have this situation, 2 squared is 4, and radical 2 squared is 2. So the area is 8 square units. Okay, now we're going backwards. The area is 70. So that means area is 70 is 6 times x. So x is 11 point, well, it's 6 repeating. Let's round to 7. 11.7. So the perimeter is 11.7 times 2 plus 6 times 2. Which is, perimeter equals 35.4 units. Okay, the perimeter over here, number 6, is 84. Since it's all 4 sides are the same, the perimeter is going to be equal to, well, 84 divided by 4 will equal the side. So 4 goes into 8 twice, and 4 goes into 4 once. So each side is 21. Therefore, the area is 21 squared. So the area is 441 units squared. Number 7. Area is 135, which means 5x minus 7 times 10 equals that area. Base times height. Base times height equals the area. So now we just solve for x. 50x minus 70 equals 135. We add 70 to both sides, and we get 205. Divide by 50. Oopsie, lost my x. X equals 4.1. So I have to plug that in right there. 5 times 4.1 minus 7. So this is 13.5. So the perimeter is 2 times 10 plus 2 times 13.5. Well, 2 times 13.5 is 27 plus 20, 47 units. Now, did anybody see a quicker way to do that? The area is 10 times the side. So you could have done 135 divided by 10 to get 13.5. But to solve for x, the problem when you solve for x, you would still have to do 5x minus 7 equals 13.5. And you would have got 4.1. So just 2 different ways to solve the problem. Number 8, perimeter is 75. So 2 times 2x minus 1, twice the base, plus twice the height, base, height, 2 of these, right? 2x minus 1 and 25 over here, equals 75. You add them all up. So 4x minus 2 plus 50 equals 75. 50 minus 2 is 48. If you subtract 48 from both sides, 75 minus 48, you get 27. And if you divide by 4, you get 6.75. That's x. That's still, we need to plug that in there. So 2 times 6.75 is 13.5. Minus 1 is 12.5. So this is 12.5. So the area is 12.5 times 25, which is 312.5 units squared. Remember, if you need to stop the video at any time to pause, go ahead. So, I'm not going to read this to you. We've already talked about the properties of parallelograms, and there is the formula for it. Triangles. We've talked about the 3 different types. We've talked about right triangles, a little trigonometry with SOHCAHTOA. Isosceles, we know the base angles are congruent. And why is that? Because the sides opposite them are congruent. Remember this? Okay. Interior angles always have to 180. It does not matter what the triangle looks like, how big it is, the style, anything. All triangles add the 180 inside. And there's your formula, 1/2 base times height. Important, to have a base and height, you must have a right angle. Extremely important. Okay? So if I have a triangle like this, I may have a base, but I don't have a height. Unless I'm given a height like this. Examples. Find the area of each figure. A triangle with a base of 6.3 and a corresponding height of 9.8. Well, you can write it as a right triangle. You can do it this way. As long as you have this. Doesn't matter. The base is 6.3. Not drawn to scale. And the height is 9.8. Definitely not drawn to scale. Again, area is 1/2 base times height. So you just punch that in your calculator. 1/2 or 0.5 times 6.3 times 9.8. And you get 30.87 units squared. A parallelogram. Classic parallelogram. With a base of 4√3 and a height of 3√5. And you draw it here or draw it here. You'll see it both ways. Doesn't matter. Now remember, parallelogram is base times height, and here's why. This, if you cut this off right here and moved it over and didn't have this here anymore, what would you have? You'd have a rectangle with a height of 3√5 and a base of 4√3. So that's why this works. So area equals 4√3 times 3√5. Remember, outside numbers, inside numbers. So area 4 times 3 is 12, and √5 times √3 is √15. And that cannot be simplified square units because no number perfect square goes into 15. Isosceles triangle with sides 12, 12, and 10. Okay? Well, it's an isosceles triangle. We need to find the height. Okay? Which makes this 5 and this 5. Now, I use the Pythagorean theorem to find my height. So 5 squared plus b squared equals 12 squared. 25 25 plus b squared equals 144. So b squared is equal to 144 minus 25, which is 119. So b is equal to the square root of 119, and that does not simplify. So your area is base 10 times your height, root 119. And so that's pretty much how you leave it. Units squared. Now, if it asks you to, put it in a decimal form rounded, okay, the square root of 119 is about 10.9. So if you were asked to do a decimal, it'd be 109 square units. But that, if it asks for the exact form, no decimal, there you go, 10 root 119. Okay, more examples. 999. Okay? So the height is right here. If this is an equal hour triangle, that makes this 60, 30, and 90. So the short side is 4.5, half the hypotenuse, and this is going to be 4.5 times radical 3. And so therefore, the area is the base times 4.5 times radical 3. So 9 times 4.5 is 40.5. So the area is 40.5 radical 3 square units. So you see we're putting it all together. Okay. Oh, sorry. I cannot find the perimeter of these. That was just area. Okay. So perimeter obviously is 9 times 3 or 27 units. Okay, the perimeter on this one's easy. We just add up all the outside numbers. We're not going to use these numbers for the perimeter. So it's not, you can't, that's inside. So if this was a fence, you're not counting the inside extra fencing. Okay, so we have 4/8 plus 2 10s. So 32 plus 20, 52 units. Now, if this is a 90-degree angle here, and that's isosceles, that makes this 45 and 45, which makes this the hypotenuse. So this is 8 root 2. So first we're going to find the area of the rectangle, which is base times height. So it's going to be 80 root 2. Then we're going to find the area of the triangles. There's 2 of them. We'll find 1. So that's 1/2 base now let's take this right triangle and do this. It's 8, 8, and 8 root 2. Right? So that's 8 times 8. So 8 times 8 is 64. Half of that is 32. But remember, there's 2 triangles. Each one of them is 32. So the area of the overall shape is 64 plus 80 root 2. Area of the 2 triangles and the area of the rectangle. Okay, more examples. Find the perimeter and area of each figure. Okay, the height is 90, so that makes this 30. So we're trying to find the height. This is the short side. This is the long side of 30, 60, 90, which makes this 2 root 3. And that makes this 4. That makes that 12. Okay, 10 plus 2. So the perimeter is going to be 2 times 12 plus 2 times 4. So 24 plus 8, 32 units. The area is going to be the base, which is 12, times the height, which is 2 root 3. So the area is 24 root 3 units squared. 7, need this. This is 6. So, this is 45, 45, 90. The hypotenuse, we're trying to find this right here. So that's 6 divided by root 2. We rationalize. So that's 6 root 2 over 2, which simplifies to 3 root 2. So the height is 3 root 2. So the perimeter is 2 times 9 plus 2 times 6. 18 plus 12, 30 units. The area is the base, 9, times the height, 3 root 2. 9 times 3, area is 27 root 2 square units. Okay, find the perimeter of a square whose area is 196. Well, that means s squared equals 196. You take the square root of both sides, s equals 14. So the perimeter is 4 times 14, which is 56 units. Find the diagonal of a rectangle. The diagonal is 40. It has a base of 2. What is the area and perimeter? This is definitely not drawn to scale. So what's the area and perimeter? We need to find the height. So that's 2 squared plus b squared equals 40 squared. So b squared equals 1600 minus 4, which is 1596. B is equal to the square root of 1596. Let's see if it breaks down. And it does. It's not too nice. It's square root of 4 times square root of 399. So B is equal to 2 times radical 399. Kind of ugly. About 19.9. It's about 20 because that'd be 400. So that's our height. 2, 399. So the perimeter is 2 plus 2, 4, plus 2 times 2, 4, radical 399. And the area is 2 times 2, which is 4 radical 399. Units squared, units. So, kind of a nasty problem. Okay, John needs a fence, so his dog's barking, won't run away. If the dimensions are 20 by 45, how much fence we need to buy, how much room will he have to run around. Okay, so we're just trying to find a perimeter and area. Perimeter is going to be 40, 2 times 20, plus 90, 45 twice, 130 yards. And area is going to be 20 times 45, which is 900 square yards.